Hi, everybody. This is Ernesto, and I'm the founder of Cat Family Therapy. And I've got Dr. Robert Pate here, and we're going to have a really incredible discussion on kids this time, children. Right, Robert?
Yeah. We're all kind of reeling from this COVID-19 thing. My wife is downstairs right now with our kids and is teaching them math. I heard her talking about carrying the one, and she's way smarter than I am. She's all about the math and science and everything, and I really value that in her because that means I don't have to teach about carrying the ones.
Right,
I,
right.
I talk to people for a living, so I'm not as helpful with that. But we've been doing a lot of fun activities with our kids, and we've been interacting with friends around that. The children's groups at our church has been helpful with providing activities, and just wanted to take a few minutes here and share some of those cool things that we can do to keep our kids engaged, even
Hmm.
when they may not leave the house. I mean, just
Yeah.
uh, for perspective here, our children have not left the house in, I don't know, 6 weeks, something like that now. And the only exceptions are 2 times we put them in the car and did a drive-by birthday party for one of their little friends, where we just drove by the house, threw a present out the window, and waved to them, and that was pretty much it. And we did
That's
the
pretty
same thing.
creative. Threw it out the window.
Yeah, just a drive-by baby shower. We did the same kind of
That's
thing.
awesome.
So that's it. Other than that, they've been in our house. We're fortunate to live in the suburbs and have a backyard too. But that's pretty much it. They're hanging out right by home here. So I just wanted to share a few things that people might be able to implement with their kids to kind of get away from the stir crazy feelings that they might have.
That's good. All right, let's go. Let's check this out.
Yeah, we did a similar video here, thinking about adults and how adults can connect with other adults here, and some of those things will still apply, and I'd encourage people to check that out. Things like calls and text messages and emails, just to let people know we're thinking about you. Sending a quick picture of something, inviting people to have a Zoom conversation or FaceTime, whatever your preferred video chat application is. But those are great. I think having some turn-taking games can be fun if your kids are a little bit older, so that there's at least some kind of social element, even if it's not live. So maybe doing
Yeah.
like a Pictionary or a Scrabble type of game. There's a million of those, Words with Friends, etc. Um,
And I noticed I went to Walmart here in the neighborhood, and many of the board games are gone.
mhm,
It's a
yeah.
thing now. I mean, I've always loved board games because it brings people together. And therapeutically, many therapists, not only couples therapists, but many children's therapists, adolescents, they use board games. So it's a really good connecting factor.
Yeah, and that's a great thing for your kind of nuclear family there, the ones that are you're stuck with, right?
Hmm.
For better or worse,
Yeah.
right? When we take those vows as when we're getting married, we don't always think about this kind of situation. Like, I might be locked in a room with you for 6 weeks or more.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so if you're stuck with some people at your home, board games are a great way to stay engaged, and it gets us away from screens, right? I mean, we're looking at a screen right now.
Yeah.
Um, but there are lots of ways to be engaged without screens. So board games are great. If you want to send videos to people, one thing you can do is kind of make creative videos. My kids have recently gotten into art, so one of the things we've been doing is time-lapse videos of them creating their art. Um, whether they're putting together Legos or drawing pictures. Most smartphones nowadays have a setting where you can do what they might call a
That's
hyperlapse or something.
right.
So, we had a sprinkler set up in the backyard, and I took slow motion videos of them jumping through the sprinklers to send to the grandparents. So taking videos and sending them, you can get creative with those, and just do short videos so that people don't feel overwhelmed. But, do a 30-second video of the grandkids and send it to the grandparents.
And those things
That's a
are
great thing.
pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, doing something like a time lapse video is fun because they might spend an hour doing something, which is great for you, parents. They spend an hour drawing something or building some amazing structure with their Legos, and you film the whole thing, and then the hyperlapse videos maybe 10, 15 seconds,
You're
right?
right. So like right here, time lapse on my phone, and then there's a slow motion. And that could be pretty fun for a lot of kids who are learning technology.
Yeah, and so whether you have them set it up or you set it up for them, it's super fun. I got to be honest and say it took me several tries, maybe 10 or 15 tries to figure out how to get the slow motion thing right on my my camera. So I was very wet in the sprinklers by the time I got the video I wanted. but it was fun, right? And I got to be outside with my kids doing that. So if you want to do one of those videos and send it, I think that's great. Make some chain reaction videos, maybe set up some interesting stuff around your house, kind of dominoes
Yeah.
style, but you could use dominoes or you could use pillows or whatever, right? Make the broom fall into something, but just get creative around the house and film what happens. Just kind of walk around the house with your camera and film the reaction as it goes, and send that off to people. So I think taking all those videos and sending them off is a nice way for kids to stay engaged with
That's
people
right.
outside. I mentioned earlier kids doing maybe Zoom or FaceTime, and I have noticed with my children and other children that they've been engaged with, whether it's people in their classroom, kids in their preschool or their elementary school classes, that the younger kids have a hard time with unstructured time on video, even if it's people that they know and are comfortable with. Kids
Mm,
tend to do things together. They don't always engage verbally together. So I
right.
think providing a little structure, having a parent in the background guiding the conversations, saying, what's something you guys did today, and kind of prompting the conversation along can be helpful, because otherwise you'll get kids that just
Yeah. Yes, exactly. You're kind of talking about me right at the moment. I don't know.
not intended to, but we can all own that,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so I mentioned grandparents earlier. Another thing that can be cool is if you're able to do like a FaceTime kind of thing with grandparents at bedtime, have the grandparents read a bedtime story. If that's part of your normal routine, have the grandparents or somebody else in the family do that for the kids. Just make sure that you both have a copy of the same book. You sit with them, you make sure the pages get turned at the right time. Have somebody else read the book. That way they can feel like they're contributing. If it's somebody maybe that usually babysits your kids for you, I know I'm hurting from lack of babysitting right now. So if you've got people that usually do your babysitting for you,
Yeah.
they probably miss your kids. Let them
Yeah.
have a little FaceTime with them like that.
I wonder too, like for a bit older kids, that they read to their grandparents,
Hmm.
right? That would be kind of cool. Like,
Yeah,
even show and tell kind of thing.
yeah, we've done that. My almost 5-year-old, he'll be 5 in a few weeks here, is just starting to read these little, what they call Bob books. They're little phonetic reading books. And so we've taken a few videos of him reading to his grandparents. So that's funny you mentioned that. I had forgotten all about that one, but yeah, that's a great way to turn it around there.
Hmm.
Another fun thing that we've done in our backyard and inside of our house is creating obstacle courses for our kids. I mentioned that my wife takes care of the math and the reading and the science, and I'm off the hook. And
You do
and
the PE.
I've been the PE teacher, right? And so one of the things that I've done is set up multiple obstacle courses around our house, just taking everyday items. Like they got to throw a ball in a bucket, or they've got to, find a certain type of object in a reusable shopping bag and then put it in the little stroller for our 1-year-old and push it across the room to something else and crawl through a little tunnel and build a fort and make a dart stick on the wall. Like whatever you can do just to get them moving in your house. If you're outside, you can add doing some
Mm,
hopscotch or kicking a ball against a goal. You can draw a goal on your back wall with chalk or something.
yeah.
um, but there's lots of stuff we can do to keep kids active, that don't have to destroy our house, which
And
is
keep them
important.
busy at the same time.
Yes, I mentioned
Focused.
art earlier, and drawing something on the wall. Our kids have gotten into doing the sidewalk chalk thing, and what we've noticed in little walks around our neighborhood where we stay socially distanced from everybody, everybody's kind of crossing on the other side of the street and everything. I've noticed the kindness of people lately, that they're like, I'll go across the street. I have a dog. You have little
Yeah.
kids. It's so nice.
I've been doing
Um,
that myself. So,
yeah, we appreciate that. We with the tiny people.
yes, yes.
But we've seen multiple spots around our neighborhood where other people have created kind of like stained glass window looking art by putting down some painter's tape and then drawing interesting designs on the sidewalk. People put inspirational quotes on the sidewalk. It's really cool, and just it's very inspiring, and it's something fun to do. So
Yeah.
if you've got some sidewalk chalk, another fun thing to do. Um, Something that one of our friends sent us, they made us a little s'mores kit, and included in that was a neighborhood scavenger hunt. And, so like find something soft, find something green, find something alive, find something
Wow.
tall, find something fuzzy, find a house with a red door. find a round window, stuff like that. And it's just something to do to get out in your neighborhood, even though you can't really go anywhere. We can't go to Disneyland or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's a way to get out and have something fun to do.
Yeah. And it
Um,
keeps them their cognitive sharp, just being
yeah.
mindful of their surrounding and being curious about what's in front of them.
Yeah, and if they're really young, I mean, that kind of counts as science, just observing the world. And you can ask them questions like, why do you think that tree is this tall and this one's only this tall? Just getting them critically thinking. I want to run through a few more things here. I know we want to keep this one short here, but there are attached to my mailbox right now 2 letters that my children have written with pictures drawn on the outsides of the envelopes that they're sending to a couple of friends that they're some of our best friends as a couple, and they have a couple of girls who write letters to our boys, and they're kind of pen pals, and they draw pictures and ask questions. And our boys, for reference, are 7 and, as I said, almost 5. So they're not that old, but they're still doing pen pal stuff. So
Wow.
it's just fun to get mail too. We could do some experiments sometimes, like science experiments. Just Google them. Go on YouTube. Find science
And there's a
experiments for
lot.
kids. Super easy stuff. Let's see. I think doing physical games is great for kids' fine motor skills and gross motor skills. We've noticed that our almost 5-year-old has gotten better at writing his letters because he's been drawing more. He hasn't been
Nice.
practicing his letters as much, but he's gotten better at that because he's been doing art.
Wow.
So he's practicing using his fine motor skills. So there's lots of ways, I think, to keep kids engaged physically that's going to benefit their body, but also benefit their schooling whenever they get back to school
Yeah.
by helping them with those motor
And
skills.
isn't your oldest somewhat getting to the stage where he's getting into the athleticism? He likes to throw balls. He
Yeah,
likes to
he's
do
starting to
that.
do that. I was a kicker in football in high school and college, and he enjoys playing soccer. And I've started to have him kick footballs in our backyard and at the elementary school, a couple doors down from our house. If the gates open, we go in there and kick for a few minutes. It's just fun to get him out there doing something
Yeah.
sportsy. Um,
Yeah.
if you've got something in the house, like indoor basketball with soft, squishy balls, that's
Yeah.
fun to do too. Um,
Yeah.
just
And
it's just being creative, right?
yeah. And for those of you who are volleyball players, one thing that I would suggest is getting a balloon that's heavy enough where, they can throw it up in the air, but it doesn't hit the ground, right? They can
Yep.
they can, they can practice their swinging. They can practice all of that. And the harder they hit, the wind stops it, and it's almost as if it's slow motion volleyball. I mean, I
Yep.
remember growing up playing that, and it's helpful.
Yep. Oh, we've done that. I can't even tell you how many times in our house. It's fun, and they have a blast doing it. I mean, you can get on other sides of the couch and hit it over like a net. I mean, there's a million things we can do, and I think it's just a matter of trying to do something different and
Yeah,
save the screen time for those times when you as a parent really need to get something done.
that's right.
Then throw them in front of the iPad. Right, but if you can take 10 minutes and look up something on YouTube, watching this video, right? If you can implement one of these ideas, have them do that for an hour, and then you've got 2 hours worth of time, right? They're doing your activity you just came up with, and then maybe doing some iPad time or doing some
Absolutely.
screen time for school or whatever it is. You got yourself a couple hours there. So I feel like as a parent, we're all just buying time. We're like, how can I get a little bit of time to do something I
Yeah,
want to do right now?
yeah, but that time is for us. It's time. For them, it's connection. It's
Mhm.
motor skills. It's cognitive exercise. I mean, it's to a child. It's huge.
Mhm.
It means the world to them. And I'm pretty sure that learning math from your wife right now, for those boys, they're like, hey, mom's next to us,
Yeah,
engaging.
they're loving the extra time together. It's weird how much I'm getting to see my kids right now. It's really fun. It's a little stressful too. It's hard to get
Of
everything
course.
done, but it's also time that I'm going to cherish, and I'll miss a
Absolutely.
little bit whenever we get back to normal here.
Yeah.
If I could throw out one final thought here about all of these the activities and everything, kids love for the most part. I'm sure there are exceptions out there, but for the most part, kids love getting their picture taken. They love having videos taken of them. If you've ever done that with an exuberant child, you know that the first thing they're going to say is, show me the picture, show me my
Yeah.
video. So they're going to be excited to do these activities, especially if you're willing to document them and show them to other people, to kind of show off how awesome they are at
Yeah.
drawing, at building Legos, at whatever.
Yeah, I love that. And the main thing about this is one to keep children engaged during this time, because it's so easy just to be cooped up at home, put a video game in front of them, turn on the Disney Channel, and just have them watch TVs. I'm not for that. I mean, I grew up with that stuff, I turned out okay, but you want to make sure that they're engaged as much as possible, because if they're not engaged here, they're going to get creative in how to
Hmm.
do stuff around your house that you may not want them to do.
Yeah. So try to organize the chaos for them, right?
Yes, yes. I love that organized chaos. Again,
Yep.
again, you guys, thank you so much for joining us. And we are Cat Family Therapy. Reach out to us. We have tons of ways to help your family grow and to get connected. And during this unprecedented time, I mean, hopefully you're watching this video when it's all said and done. Everyone's taking trips. You guys are doing things that are not risky, but this is a time when a lot of us are at home, and keeping your children engaged is like half of the battle of staying alive almost, huh?
Yeah, and one thing as I'm thinking about it here, just want to throw out, if you are struggling, right? If you're in the situation and you're just going nuts trying to figure out what can I do with and for my kids, and I don't have any alone time, and if you're just in that place where you need a little more support and you'd like to talk to a professional, you can give us a call for that. We can support individuals. If your marriage is taking a hit because of this, we can help you with that. We can even do family therapy, and we can do in-person office visits. While observing social distancing, wearing masks and all that. But we can also do virtual sessions via technology like we're using right now. So we can do that for couples and families as well. So if that's something you need some support in, feel free to reach out to for that. And if we're able to help you, great. If not, we can give you some referrals to find somebody.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
Yeah,
just want
we
to
are
encourage you
well.
with that.
Yeah, we are well connected with the mental health community. So if we're not a good fit, we'll be committed to give you someone who will be. So again, Dr. Pate, thank you so much for being on. And for those of you who are watching again, I will give you all of the information that you need to reach out to us. All right, everyone. Bye-bye.